Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you all my 2026 journal setup. So let's get to it. First of all, I took a book that is an A5 sized book, and this is a spiral book. I always love taking a spiral book for my journal because it is really easy to handle the book and write things in it. But if you prefer a normal book, that's totally fine and you can journal in that way. So let's see what's there inside of the journal. First of all, I made my cover page like this as you are seeing it now. So I put 2026 in a very simple way as the front page of this journal. Afterwards, I wrote a poem called Don't Quit in the next 2 pages of my journal. I love this poem. It's a poem written by a poet called John Greenleaf Whittier. I really love this poem, so I thought I would use that poem in one of the first few pages of all of my journals, and I've been doing this for quite a few years now. So this poem has really struck a chord with me, and I write it down in every journal. And then after I wrote the poem down, I wrote this quote, a quote that I absolutely love and adore, and I follow this quote a lot. So it says, "Be like the ocean, fearless in the storm, yet calm in the depths, powerful in its silence and relentless in its flow." It's about the ocean and how we can take our personality traits to be like it. So I really love that quote, and I thought I should include that in my journal. Afterwards, I wrote Year at a Glance in 2 different pages. I put 6 months in each page, so that would add up to all the 12 months at the end. And something that I do monthly is I highlight or I color the important dates in this mini calendar every month, so I can see what the important dates are and the things that I should be getting ready for in that particular month. Afterwards, I have my goals and results page. This is a very important page for me. I usually write down my goals for the year in the goals page, and then after I achieve each of them, or whatever happens, if I fail them or achieve them, or whether I reach my goals, I write all of that down in the results page. I think this is very important to have in your journal because it just helps you to see what your goals are and see what your results have been throughout the year, and you can adjust whatever the negative things you are having in yourself that are hindering you from achieving your goals, and hopefully become a better version of you by the end of the year. So this is something that I definitely include in all of my journals, and I included it in this year's journal also. So afterwards, we have the bucket list. I love writing a bucket list for each year. I think it just makes my years so much more exciting because I have a lot of things to look forward to. And in the other page, I have a books column where I write each and every single book that I read throughout the year. So in 2025, I read almost 100 books, which is quite an achievement considering that I was writing several exams throughout the year. So I was very happy that I got to read a lot of books, and I love reading books. So this column is very important for me in my journal. And this year I'm hoping to read a lot of books. So I didn't include just 1 page. I actually included another 2 pages to write down the books that I am going to be reading throughout the year. After that, I put a page called Book Bingo. This was actually one of my close associates' idea, and she told me that she would put a book bingo in her journal just so you can color off or cut off or do whatever you want with the bingo once you are done with a certain square of it. So for example, I have written in the first column a book with a one-word title. So my goal would be to read a book with a one-word title, and once I do that, I'm going to cross it off this list. So I think that's really exciting. This is my first time trying out a book bingo. So I just added that to my journal this year. And then over here, I have a blank page because I don't know what to do with it actually. And I'm still deciding on it, but that's totally alright. So I just left one page blank. I have actually left quite a few pages blank in this journal, and I'm just going to be filling them up as I go through the year. And then I have exam countdown pages. I actually made this year's journal as a study planner also. Everything's in one book, and I think that just makes everything so much easier and more efficient. So I have an exam coming in 221 days. So I put an exam countdown on 3 pages actually, 3 sides. So until the first day I can count down to the last day till the beginning of the exam. So I am an advanced level student here in Sri Lanka, and I actually studied 3 subjects: biology, chemistry and physics. So I thought it would be really cool to put a paper tracker. It's very important for students to practice papers before writing the actual paper at the exam. So I have made quite a few pages for all of the 3 subjects. So I have biology, chemistry and physics here. And in this, I put my year, the round I'm doing the very paper, MCQ, structured essays, the totals and reviews. So that's how this column is going. I just put the study planner in my yearly journal. This is not a thing that I used to do, and it's something new that I'm implementing from this year. So let's see how that goes. I think it's going to be really good. Afterwards, I put graphs for all 3 of my subjects. So I put B graph in the sense of biology graph. Then I have a chemistry graph and a physics graph. This was put so I could track my marks for each of the papers that I do, and I can see what my growth is in terms of my marks and things like that. So my academics are not going to be falling because I have to track everything in here. So if you're a student, I would highly recommend you to follow this graphing method for your marks. And as you do each paper, it is very important that you track whatever the score that you're getting and make sure to get a higher score the next time. So afterwards, I have a songs and a movies page. I love these 2 pages of my journal. I listen to a lot of songs throughout the year, and in the songs page, I don't write down all of the songs that I listen to, but the songs that I really love or the new songs that I discovered throughout the year, and I just write them down here. And in terms of movies, I actually include TV shows also in the same page. I don't watch a lot of movies and TV shows, so just 1 page is enough for me. Afterwards, I put a year in dots, mood, as my first 2 trackers. I actually have quite a few trackers in this journal, and one of the things that I did differently this year was putting these symbols instead of colors to represent what my mood or what my year looked like. Because in 2025, I put all of these different colors, and I would have to color each day to represent what I was feeling or what I was going through in the sense of tracking it. But I actually did not do it very well because I was quite lazy to take out all of the colors and sort through everything. And I thought that journaling should be something that's easy, not something that is going to stress you out. So one thing that I did differently this year was I put symbols instead of colors. And as you can see, for happy I put a heart, for content I put some waves, a star for excited, and like that I just put different symbols. And all I'm going to need is my pen, just one pen, and I can track every day very easily without having to take out my color pencils or worry about choosing different colors for each day. And I think that made my year a lot easier this time. So if you're anyone like me who is quite lethargic when it comes to sorting out through your color pencils and coloring each day, you can try this method. So you can symbolize your moods or your year in dots or whatever the page that you're tracking, whatever the thing that you're tracking, and that can make it so much more easier for you throughout the year. So here I have my year in dots, where I would rate the day on a level of 1 star to 5 stars. And then in here we are having my mood tracker. I have different moods that I usually go through, and I have put a symbol for each one of them. Afterwards we have a study tracker and a flashcards tracker. So for my study tracker and flashcards, I put symbols just like in my previous trackers, and I have divided each tracker into all of the months and all the days in it, so that just makes it so much easier for me to track everything. I use a square ruled paper to do this. I cut it off and I paste it and write, so that just makes everything so much more easier. And in terms of flashcards, you might be wondering why I have written only until August over here. It's because my exams are ending in August. So I will only be needing to revise my flashcards until the month of August. So I didn't put any of the months after that. Afterwards, we have 2 more trackers for health and working out. So for the health tracker, I put in good health, sick, on my period, or whether I'm having a headache and things like that. For the workout, I have put a 30-minute workout, 1-hour workout, whether I'm stretching, whether I'm doing an arm workout, a leg workout, or I'm just walking, or whether I'm having a rest day on that particular day. So that's how my health and workout trackers have gone this year. And at last, I am having a weather tracker. So the weather in Sri Lanka can only be 4 things. It can be cloudy, sunny, and it can be sunny or cloudy together. And then it can be a rainy day. So only those 4 are there. We don't have any seasons here. So I just put those 4, and I put symbols for each of them. So that just makes it so much more easier for me to track it every day. And I will take only a very little time to track everything. So afterwards, like I said before, I left another blank page. I can actually take it off if I wanted to, but I prefer to keep it like this because I never know what's going to come in my ear and when I'm going to need an extra page or an extra tracker or whatever it is. So I thought that I would keep it like this and add something to it while my year goes along. And then finally I am having my 2026 lessons page. This is the most important page of the entire journal for me. And that is because I love writing down the things that I have learned throughout the year. I fill this page only on the 31st of December every year, and I do this with so much care and so much love because I can look back through that year and see what I've learned, see all the lessons that I've acquired, all the things that I've got to know, and the times that I've failed, the times that I've got up again, all of those things. I just write in these 2 pages in 2026 lesson. And that is the end of the main pages of my journal. And then I'm going to show you my January journal setup. So for the January journal setup, I actually went in a very simple way this time, a very simple theme, and I came across this picture on Pinterest and I thought that was beautiful, and I painted it using some watercolors. It was very relaxing. I didn't want to do a lot for January. I just wanted it to be relaxing and like a fresh start to the year. So I made it as the sea and like a mermaid going in. So that was quite magical and I really liked it. So I thought I'd add that as my January cover page. And then I wrote January over here in calligraphy letters. And then afterwards, I have my January calendar. I make a calendar separately for each month. I feel that it is so important to write down the things that you have to do every day or the important events that you have to attend and make sure that you don't miss them. So I like writing them in my calendar over here. And then afterwards, I have my poem page. I write a poem that I've taken from somewhere in the internet for every single month. I do this because I love literature and I love poems. So it just inspires me. I always select some poem that is inspiring, some poem that speaks to me. And this time I came across this poem written by the same person who wrote the book The Alchemist. For those of you who have not read The Alchemist, please go and read that book. It is such an amazing book. It's so amazing. I just love that book so much. It was the best book that I read in 2025. So I got this poem from that same author and it's about new beginnings, and I just put it over here because I thought that it was really nice. Then we come across this page that I have. I actually have 4 pages like this to write down all of my days. So let me take you quickly through what is there. So in the first page, I am having the month over here again, just at a glance. And then I have all my dates over here. So I can write down, so for example, on the 1st of January, which is a Thursday, I'm going to write down my to-do list over here. And even though my to-do list might be a long one, I'm only going to write down the most important things that I have to get done, and that could be like 3 main goals to be completed within that day. I think that just makes everything so much easier, and you can see what you have accomplished throughout every day in the month. And then for the spaces, you can either keep them blank, but I didn't want to keep them blank, so I took out some boards and I applied watercolor for the board and I just pasted them. It was such an easy thing to do, and I thought that I would write down a quote or something that I was feeling, like my main goal for the week, something like that, in these blank spaces. And this is continuing until the 31st of January. So take a month like February, for example. You're going to have some squares remaining because there's only 28 days in February. So for those blank squares, you can either write your own quotes, build up new goals, or things like that. It's just up to you to customize it. Afterwards, I have my gratitude journal, a very, very important thing to have in any monthly journal setup. So every day I'm going to put, like, whether it be first, I'll put 1 and then I'll write down what I'm grateful for during that day. And this is going to go on for all these 2 pages until the very last day of the month. Since I'm a student, I need to have some study things in my journal. So in the next page, I have a study bingo. This is similar to a book bingo, but this is going to be for a month. So I'm writing down my study goals within these squares for the month and coloring them off when I complete each one of them. I think that just motivates me to do a little bit more in terms of my academics. And at the end, I have written a study review for January. So in these couple of lines, I'm going to summarize how this month has been for me in terms of my academics. In the next page, we have personal development. I have written down 6 questions for myself. I answer these questions at the beginning of each month, and I do this for all 12 months. So the first one is, what is my goal for this month? My main goals, and then I'm breaking it down into further questions like, why do I want it? How will I do it? What do I need to remember? What skills do I have already that will help? And what do I need to work on? I think this is really good for reflecting on yourself and thinking about what you want to improve during that particular month. And finally, we have the monthly review page. And at the end of the monthly review page, I have written on to the next chapter. And I think that is something you have to do at the end of each month. You have to think back, you have to sit down, relax yourself, and think about how the month has been for you, how you have spent the last 30 or 31 days, whether you have done something productive or whether you have achieved your goals, whatever it might be for you. It's very important to look back and reflect on how the month has been. So that is the last page of my monthly journal setup for January. And that brings us to the end of the journal setup for this year until January. And February onwards, I make it up as I go. And I'll probably be making the February setup at the last few days, maybe on the last few days of January. And I will bring that video to you all if you all want. So make sure to comment and leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more vlogs, podcasts, and videos on how to make your journal. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.